Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, Prime Minister Perry Christie gives details about discussions he had with cable and wireless top executives yesterday. Emergency call numbers are still down. We'll tell you what police have to say about it. Help is on the way for a woman suffering from a debilitating illness. Plus, the Crisis Center recording an increase in reports of domestic violence. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and NB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to NB12. 1 year and 2 months after the Ingram administration sold the majority stake in BTC to Cable and Wireless Communications, CWC officials are back in talks with the government as the Christie administration seeks to return the majority interest in the national telecom to the Bahamian people. Today, Prime Minister Christie confirmed that he met with CWC CEO Tony Rice for about an hour yesterday, and he revealed that Cable and Wireless wants the deal to remain as is, and he hit back at former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, who asserted that the BTC deal is irreversible. Vonique Toot has more.
As officials from the Bahamas telecommunications company were scrambling to address a massive system failure on Monday, Prime Minister Perry Christie was holding a private meeting with the head of Cable and Wireless Communications at his office to discuss the future of BTC. Monday's meeting comes nearly 3 weeks after Christie announced in Parliament that the government would do all it can legally to return the majority stake of BTC to the Bahamian people. Prime Minister Christie told NB12 today it is ironic that he met with CEO Tony Rice during one of the worst blackouts in BTC's history. He says it serves as a reminder of the questions raised about the BTC deal last year and why the former administration should never have signed a deal with CWC in the first place.
Whilst we were talking, the greatest collapse that I'm aware of ever of communication services in the country took place, for which we are expecting a report, and which much too much reminded us of all the things we said and why we ought not to have agreed with Cable Wireless. But in any event, we had a good discussion.
During that hour-long private discussion, Christie says he reaffirmed the government's commitment to attaining a majority interest in BTC. He also requested a full report on the company's operations since CWC took over in April 2011.
We discussed in the context that they have the management of the company, that they have to serve the best interests of the country, that we will set up a process that will enable us to put our respective positions on the table and arrive at a conclusion in a reasonable period of time.
When asked if CWC has been receptive to this idea, Christie said obviously the telecoms giant would like things to remain the way they are now.
Cable Wireless would wish to persuade us not to seek that position, not to stay with that position. So we understand that, and this is what negotiations between partners, after all, we have a partnership, the country with Cable and Wireless with respect to the ownership of that asset. And so I expect that whatever happens, it will be done in the right way, with the right time, and will not affect anyone's employment or the value of the company.
We also asked the Prime Minister if he is confident the government will be able to achieve its goal. However, he said he would not comment further. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram recently told NB12 that many of the things his government did while in office, like signing the BTC deal, are irreversible. Christie says we'll just have to see.
And remember, Mr. Ingram also said the PLP couldn't beat him, and most certainly Perry Christie couldn't. And we saw.
The Prime Minister says he will hold further meetings with CWC executives. However, he did not say when the next meeting will take place. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Well, less than 24 hours after BTC experienced one of the worst outages in its history, the company's engineers and technicians completed repairs, restoring service throughout the Bahamas. The company said in a statement today. BTC executives said they are leaving no stone unturned in investigating the causes of the failure of backup operating systems that should have kicked in following a power cut. The government plans to release the names of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation's new board of directors this month. The Free National Movement slammed the government for failing to announce those appointments, especially in light of yesterday's island-wide power outage. The FNM said in a press statement it is inexcusable that a full board of directors for BEC has not yet been announced by this government, which was supposedly ready on day one. The opposition accused Prime Minister Christie of making a halfway announcement of his intention to appoint PLP Member of Parliament Leslie Miller as BEC chairman. Christie responded to those comments today.
We are all in the process now of naming those persons, and we have this month is when you do that, and so we are going through that process now and coordinating it. So I'm sure that the public will be hearing our positions very shortly.
Former BEC Executive Chairman Michael Moss resigned shortly after the May 7th general election. Well, 4 years, the 911-919 emergency call system has been plagued with issues that have caused major disruptions in service. But over the past week, the entire system has been down. In this next report, our Jasmine Bonamy takes a look at how police are coping.
It's been months since a multi-million-dollar contract was signed to replace the sometimes faulty and currently outdated emergency 919 call system. But while officials work to get that new system implemented, they're battling getting the old system back online. For the past week, calls made using 911 or 919 have not been answered. That's because the system has been down. And according to Assistant Commissioner of Police Hewlin Hanna, the system failure was due to a number of issues. Hanna says while they're not 100% sure what exactly caused the prolonged failure, they believe a lightning storm was a major factor.
Last week or the week before, there was a thunderstorm that came through that impacted significantly on a lot of our systems, and but in this instance we were able to get the assistance of BTC because we're reasonably satisfied that our system did not fail, but all of the support mechanism that feed into our system, that was where the problem was.
Given the vital role that 919 plays in crime fighting, Hanna says police worked feverishly to have the problem addressed. He says BTC workers have teamed up with police officers from the force's communications branch to fix the phone lines.
We moved immediately to make the public and of course the media aware of the numbers that we wanted to use in the interim. I am pleased to say that personnel from BTC came in over the weekend, and we've been working feverishly, and so the entire system should be fully restored in very short order.
But Hanna could not say exactly when the lines would be fixed. Disruptions in service to the emergency call center at the police control room is nothing new. In September 2010, the call system went down for a 12-hour period. Last fall, the Ingram administration signed a contract worth $2.9 million for the new state-of-the-art E919 system, a computer-aided call handling system, and an automatic people and vehicle location system. Hanna revealed that police are still working on implementing the new system.
It has been bought, it has been purchased, it has been installed, and we were just having it tweaked. And so that the official rollout will be almost imminently. And again, we want to say to the Bahamian public that they need to know that they can get in contact with the police at all material times. And hopefully, once this system is up and running, well, not hopefully, but once it is up and running, we guarantee that you'll have more lines available to the public.
In the meantime, police have set up other 7-digit numbers that will act as substitute emergency lines until the system is back online.
We thank the public for their patience. We want to also thank our technical people for doing a yeoman's job. When you're dealing with technology, there is always the probability that something will go wrong, something will happen, but on each occasion our people have risen to the occasion. I want to also salute our colleagues at BTC for doing a stellar job as well.
For a list of those new emergency numbers, log on to the force's website, RoyalBahamasPoliceForce.org. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
A woman with lupus, whose story was featured in the Nassau Guardian, is set for some much-needed assistance from the Urban Renewal 2.0 program. In fact, Rosander Clark was introduced to us through Urban Renewal. Our Candia Dames has this report on the ailing woman who still has a positive outlook on life despite her condition.
Since the Nassau Guardian told Rosander Clark's story yesterday, we've received tremendous reaction from our readers. So we decided to return here to her Nassau Street home to talk to her and share her story with our television viewers. Rosander Clark is 37 years old. She has been diagnosed with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. Arthritis has disfigured her fingers, making it challenging to use her hands, and it has twisted her left foot, making it impossible to walk. She spends every day in bed, usually on her back. She needs help just to sit up. She says very few visitors come to see her, and she leaves the small home about once every 3 months for doctor's visits. When she does, she says she pays a man $70 to transport her. Rosander told us she hasn't left home since April 27th. She has small wishes, things that many of us take for granted. And I know you also told me that there are things that we as so-called normal people do that you don't get to do. Like you heard about the Cable Beach strip, the new strip, but you've never seen it.
Yeah, I heard about the Cable Beach strip. My mommy used to come home and say, "Boy, son, if you see Cable Beach, it's so beautiful. Say you would love to see that." And I tell her one day. I said, one day I can see it.
Rosander said she saw the new COB library earlier this year and thought it was simply a beautiful sight. There is much more she wishes she could do.
It's hard, but through all things, I give God thanks. You know, every morning I get up, I still can see another day. Thank God for that.
Rosander, tell us about the kind of life you wish you could have as a 37-year-old woman.
The kind of life I wish I could have. I want a life like normal people. I want to go there and work for myself, take care of myself. Just do the things normal people used to. Go to church on Sundays. I used to go before, but I don't go now. Just be me.
As you can see, this is the front door. This is the only door to the home. This is a very small bed that Mr. Merritt sleeps on every night, right next to the kitchen. Not much living space, obviously. And the only other room in the house is where Rosander sleeps with her 18-year-old daughter right here in this bed. So not a whole lot of space here to move around and to live.
We don't have that much space, but we have love for one another. We enjoy being in a little place with one another because we have love for one another and be happy with one another. Although she's sick, she's still happy that they know she have me and I can help her.
Rosander says she has been in this condition now for the past 6 years. She says her daughter never finished school because she stayed home to help her. Rosander and her mother told NB12 they are truly grateful for the help that they have been promised by State Minister of National Security Keith Bell through the Urban Renewal Program. Bell has pledged some much-needed home repairs. Despite her very challenging situation, Ms. Clark tells us that the last thing she would want to do is complain. She says she remains ever thankful for life. Reporting for NB12, I'm Candia Dames.